Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is the Loshak and the Bag Show. Are we streaming? Are you sure? Okay, because I'm trying to find. Oh, there we go. Yes, we are streaming. Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. My name is Peter Loshak. His name is Jimmy the Bag. This is the Loshak and the Bag Show for Monday morning, first show of the week, May 7th. Big news, of course, is that Jimmy the Bag absolutely expectedly nailed the Kentucky Derby. Sorry, I'm a little off this morning. Still a little bit tired in weekend mode. Jimmy the Bag, I am not at all surprised that you nailed the Kentucky Derby. You want to take a victory lap? Of course, Jimmy the Bag had Justify at plus 350 and Justify at a bunch of matchup props, all correlated. He gets a win for all of them. Nice job, Jimmy.
Thank you. It was great. We'll see if we want to take Justify again in the Preakness. I feel like 4 to 5 is good enough value, and 3 to 5 is not worth making the bet. So we'll see how it goes there. But I hit a $24 straight exactor, Justified a good magic, and it was great. It was great. And but also. There was some hate on our program on Friday, and I went
no way.
Well, from Mark Lewis.
Oh, yes.
Went 8 for 9 in MLB on Friday.
You did.
8 for fucking 9. And one thing that really worked was that, that fucking hater was saying, you haven't done the work, because I didn't want to make the decisions right away. I wanted to sit with them and see what the guys on our chat had to say, and that worked very well. So I have not sent in my bets, even though I've made my picks. I have not sent in my bets, waiting to see if because the guys on our chat are excellent cappers, and it really, really helps working with them and figuring stuff out. And a lot of people talking about Justify. It was wonderful.
Yes, well, I know you put in the work for that. It was not just a random play. And as I've told you before, Jim, in all sports, when you take the time and do your research, I do believe you have a solid edge, even in college basketball. In everything, Jim.
Well, you've given me so much confidence, and I'm so thankful to sit beside you. I know we talk about the chat so much, but I'm so honored and thankful to sit beside the legend Pete Loshak. And before we get rolling, one of our favorite guys for sure, it's Greg Schneider's birthday. Greg Schneider's birthday, who needs some love. I think we need a Pete Loshak happy birthday.
All right.
To our Greg
very, very huge happy birthday to you, Greg Schneider. Is he asking for a pick? I hope not. Right?
No, he just says all he wants is a Cavs sweep.
All he wants is a Cavs sweep. Okay, that's great, man. I am still in weekend mode, but I got my coffee here. I will be out of weekend mode by this afternoon. I can guarantee you that. The beginning of this show, I might still be in weekend mode, though. We thankfully have a small card, right? A tiny MLB. You know what I did also in MLB? I decided I wasn't going to force it. I just stuck with I had a 3-0 day in MLB on Friday as well, and I'm trying to figure. I feel like at this point in the year, it's probably better for me to look for what I would consider to be low-hanging fruit at this point in the year and try to not force things. So I'm going to probably have fewer plays, discussing every game though, but maybe just like 2 or 3 plays a day, like I did on Friday, and I'm hoping that'll push me into positive digits.
Well, I'm sure it will. And we went 11 for 12 in MLB on Friday.
Yes, and we even hit NBA, didn't we, Jim?
We went 2 for 2 in NBA, but I did go 0-2 in NHL, which dampened.
That's right. That's right. What were the games that we lost on Friday? Oh, it was what was it?
We lost on the under.
Oh, it was on Boston.
Yes, and we lost on Boston. Now Boston's gone, so they can't take any more money from me. But I did lose. I did put a bet earlier that week on Boston in the series at minus 120. So that was a loser.
Yes, a bet, but I don't think did you give it as a pick in our shows? I don't remember. I'll check. I'll check.
Please do.
Who did Brent Brooks have in that game? Did he have Tampa Bay?
He had Tampa Bay in Game 5.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Of course he did.
Very, very nice. Brent Brooks. Well, NHL, of course, overall is very fun to handicap. We will get to that in a second. We're also going to, if we have any tweets that come in between now and the tweet segment of this show, we'll address them. If not, we'll remind folks what we're doing with this tweet segment. And, of course, let's just quickly tell everyone, once again, about BetMania. If you want to sign up for BetMania, some big pluses from BetMania, some other things that people might not want, you can find out all about every sportsbook at sportsbookreview.com. But if you want to sign up with BetMania, do use the link in the description box of this video, right, Jim?
Yes, please do. They got some great things, reduced juice, and of course a happy hour in basketball between 2 and 3 p.m. Eastern.
All right. Should we get into MLB?
We should. And there's a lot of people giving shouts out on justifying our win there. I'm so happy. God, it feels good when my friends cash. The main thing that we had there was we knew we were never going to get 3-1 on Justify for the rest of our lives, and that's 6 years in a row that the favorites coming in the Derby. Also, we're getting this favorite between 3-1 and 6-1, and it was just fucking milking, and it felt so good to see all that sharp money late coming on my boy Jack. All that sharp money thinking they're fucking brilliant because my boy Jack had won in the mud. So had Justify, his second race of his career. He'd won in the mud. He had no problem with the fucking mud. My boy Jack did come up for 6th or whatever, which is where we thought he would be around. It's fucking great when I've never seen 30-1 down to 6-1 in my whole life. I've never seen that in my entire life, and I'm very happy that all those guys took it right in the fucking drink hole.
Sonny Bet says, "Hey Pete, what exactly does weekend mode mean for you? LOL. We're not going to get into that right now, Sonny. Might not be what you think, though. Might not be what you think, though, Sonny Bets." And Kevy K saying that he wish he could bet on bad officiating in the NBA playoffs.
It's been
Wishing
tough.
that is what the books would offer. Maybe BetMania will somehow come up with a bad officiating prop, and that will certainly make Kevy K sign up, right?
Yeah, man.
He wants to bet on bad officiating in the NBA. There you go. Here's a nice little comment. Rich Banks, Jimmy Sharp as a Ginsu knife. Wow. Yes. No. I'm impressed, but I wasn't shocked. I was like, if Jimmy's digging deep into doing his research on this Kentucky Derby, he's gonna have some angles and impressive. All right. So let me just quickly do a quick save of the comments here. And let's move on to MLB. We only have 6 games today. Well, sorry, 7 games today.
Yeah.
Right, that's right. Let's see. My first thought is once again, Kyle Hendricks is giving up some home runs. Miami suddenly hitting a little bit. Maybe Miami is getting a little bit disrespected here as a massive underdog there. What else do we have? We have a brand new starting pitcher for the Mets, Conlon, going up against Homer Bailey. That's an interesting game. We'll analyze that. Let's see. We have Strasburg against Ross, Washington, San Diego. Not totally sure San Diego should be that big of a home underdog, and I'm sure that at least some of the sharp guys that we have, regular commenters in our in the chat box will be saying that San Diego has some value as that big of a home underdog. Tyson Ross has been pitching pretty well for San Diego, and then we have Dallas Keuchel making his next start at Oakland. So some interesting stuff. What are you looking at, Jim?
Well, there's quite a few very appealing spots already. Kobe, who's been hitting a high amount of big dogs, already says that San Diego's his play of the day.
Yeah.
Already coming with San Diego money line. So there's a few plays I like, and I haven't bet anything yet.
A few first things. Look at this. Mark Lewis suddenly with a compliment. Jimmy, I'm not a hater, but congrats.
Thank you, Mark Lewis. Thank you. I assume he saw my 8 for 9 day in MLB too, because
really
he's giving me a lot of shit.
That should read, Jimmy, I'm not a hater and congrats. But congrats would imply that he is a hater. But that's okay.
Hey, Mark. One thing, 2 things. One, we don't ban haters.
We love haters.
I don't.
Yes,
but we don't ban them.
Right.
I know you love them. I know you love them. But you're welcome in our family.
Yes.
You're welcome. You know, we've got a wonderful group of cappers that make me so much sharper, and I love working with them. I was excited to sit beside Pete and get to business here. So, you are unconditionally loved here, and you can feel safe here,
yes.
and you can make money here.
And you can feel safe taking shots at our record. No matter, you can even take shots at our NHL record. If we throw up plus 24 units and Mark Lewis thinks that that's a shitty record, he's feel free.
Speaking of my record back in business, can we
Let's
see
throw up
the
MLB
record?
Let's throw up the MLB record because Jim's ROI after that magical Friday for him took a shot up, and I even took 3 units up, which is not too bad.
I'm surprised I'm just oh no, that's God, sorry.
Yeah.
I looked into ROI. The ROI is nice. What a fucking roller coaster ride. You can be 8. I can be 8 units up, and it can just fall apart so fast. But we're in the right group.
Shout out to all the commenters for all the great support. Thank you so much. All right, so you have no plays as of yet.
I have a ton of plays.
Oh, in MLB.
Yes, but I have not bet them yet, and I want to talk them out. So I will say my play, but I don't even want them written down at first until we kind of talk them out.
All right, well, the first thing I'm thinking of is that San Diego, look, I don't like Tyson Ross long term necessarily, but I just don't see how they're this big of an. How are they this big of an underdog? Now I notice a lot of times when San Diego, like last year, when they're like a plus 115, plus 118 home dog, that's when they really have big value. And that when they're actually this big of an underdog, pushing plus 160, that's when you have to be a little bit careful. The line is also headed up. UWager now just jumped to minus 173, so they're over 160 at UWager. It's headed up at Pinnacle, and I'm just wondering if once again I've gotten suckered in by a few big underdog lines. Remember when Pittsburgh, I think, was at Washington last week or something. Yeah. So this is feeling a little bit like that one. I'm not at all surprised that people like Kobe Valentine are liking San Diego. Do we like San Diego here?
I don't know exactly what to do, and I don't have a play. This is not one of my plays. Ziggy Ball sent me a message earlier, loving Strasburg in this situation. He got in on the line early, so he got a pretty decent line. He didn't take the run line. He just thinks Strasburg, native San Diegan, right?
Yes.
From West Hills High, suburb of Santee, to played in San Diego State under the great Tony Gwynn, the late Tony Gwynn, for the Aztecs. And this is only his fourth start in his hometown.
Yeah.
So previous 3 starts at Petco Park, 2-1, 2.84 earned run average. And then the Padres have hit 176 against them at Petco Park. Overall, Strasburg's made 8 starts against the Padres, 6-2, 2.94 ERA, giving up 16 earned runs in 49 innings. So that's the idea. People think that, man, the Nats are going to play for them.
Yeah, I mean, the Nats obviously are hitting great. Strasburg's been doing great. How long will Tyson Ross's success last? Not exactly convinced it'll be a long time. I was thinking maybe a shot with San Diego on the second half as well, but I guess for now we're going to pass on that one, huh, Jim?
At this point, I'm going to pass. Kobe coming in saying as of now, 85% of bets is on Washington.
Right.
Now a legit percentage to get on Washington. I think San Diego or pass is the value. I'm going to pass at this point. Nats have won 7 of 8. Padres did look pretty good, winning 2 of 3. Hosmer homered for the 3rd time in the last 5 games. That is big. And Ross, I don't know. Ross is been very good. I did not expect him to be this good. He's throwing sliders 46.5% of the time. That's the highest in the major leagues. He's got a nasty slider. 3.28 ERA, 1.18 whip through 35 2/3, 40 Ks, 13 walks. I'm interested in the over. I also think that's interesting. Nostra Tota says Padres, as big of a dog as they were to Maeda, no value on Padres in my opinion.
Yeah, interesting. Kevy K says, don't overthink this. Padres striking out at an alarming rate, 10+ a game, league leading. Tom Marino saying big name pitchers have been overvalued all year. I think Strasburg is overvalued here. I'm on the over at 7. He's agreeing with you. He likes the over. Not necessarily he thinks that the Strasburg is overvalued, but that doesn't mean he thinks San Diego has the value. He thinks that the over has the value. Great analysis here already.
And the over is at a plus line. The over 7's at a plus line. I like it. I know that the wind isn't blowing out sort of sideways in this matchup. I think the over is the play after talking it out, and I'm going to take it.
What are you going to take?
I'm going to take the over 7 at a plus number.
Oh, are you sure about that?
Yeah, I think that's the play. I think that's where I find value here. But actually, you know what? How about this? How about I don't take it yet? That'll be a lean for now. I'll keep an eye on the line,
okay.
And but that's where I'm leaning toward.
All right. Yes, we do. We are going to do this all over again at 6 o'clock Eastern time, of course. All right. Let's talk about Houston against Oakland. Keuchel against Anderson. Anderson's first start was pretty good. Not sure that that's going to continue long term. And Keuchel definitely seems to be having some issues. Not a bad pitcher, certainly, but a far cry from his Cy Young form. Is the over a no-brainer here?
I don't know if it's a no-brainer. I mean, if you look at Keuchel's starts, every single start he's had all year, except for one, and that was against these A's, he's allowed 3 or less. And the A's touched him. And he doesn't look great. There's no question about it. He's always pitched the A's well, but 3.98 ERA, 1.23 whip so far this year. Astros have lost 5 of 7. A's have won 4 of 6. I like Anderson. And Max, my man Maxwell Smart, wrote in a little private chat that we have there, he said, am I the only Canadian that likes Brett Anderson? No, I like Brett Anderson. I like what he's done. I like what these old-timers have done that the A's picked out of a fucking trash heap. He looked great in his first start of the season. Threw 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 Ks. Now we know if you follow Anderson's career, you know he just doesn't keep that going all year. I mean that stops at some point. Like he gets lit up at times. But the A's are hitting lefties very hard, and the Astros are hitting them not nearly as hard as last year, but they're still hitting them. Not applicable says Oakland bats get to Keuchel today. Juicy Toast says Ace and Houston have the coldest bats right now.
I was thinking maybe about a shot with the first 5 innings over, maybe a shot with Houston on the second half, not on the first half. I don't really like Keuchel here. Yeah, it's certainly interesting. And at first glance, you have to think that Oakland as a home dog would have some value.
Not only do I think they have value, I'm going to bet them.
You sure?
Yes, I'm going to take the A's here. I just feel like Keuchel has been touched by this team before. I loved Anderson's first start. I love what's going on in Oakland. They're now 18-16. They're 11-6 at home, and I'm going to ride them.
You're going to take it? You want me to write it down, Jim?
I do.
All right, Oakland money line plus, let's see, best line at the Greek plus 125. Line shopping here at SBR odds. The Greek has the best line right now on Oakland at plus 125. Okay, and I would be leaning first 5 innings over, and I would be leaning Houston on the second half at minus 140. All right, now let's move on to I don't know which one. Which one should we move on to, Jim?
I've got a play for sure. I got more plays. But just a quick note from Teamer. Sergaliev says, you guys should do World Hockey Championships in Denmark. Bets they pay real nice. Yes, we should. And Al Mack has been absolutely destroying the World Championship. Seems like there's lots of angles. And not only that, but our man Larry, his play of tomorrow on Friday was the under in Denmark, USA, and it cashed. Comfortably.
Really?
Yeah, so there's no question there's a ton of value there, and I need to put
How
more
much longer is that going on?
Oh God, it's a longer tournament. I'd say 10 days.
Wow. Maybe I should jump into that. I love those kinds of tournaments. Yeah, there can be good value there.
Okay, let's go to another play now. Let's go to a play that I know I'm going to make.
Okay.
I'm going to jump on. I'm going to jump on the Twins here. I know the Cardinals are playing great baseball. They've just had 2 extra inning games. I like Fernando Romero's first start. John Grant is a question mark. Let's break it down. Game time temp 75 Fahrenheit. Wind blowing in 8 miles per hour. Gets down to 4 by the end of the game. After starting 30 of 31 games, Molina's going to be on the shelf for 4 weeks after that traumatic hematoma. Scotty Rock saying Larry is 2-2 then. Yes, he is, my man, Scotty Rock. He is 2-2, and he's down 0.15 units, but he's going to get that shit back. I know Larry. St. Louis leads the division by a game and a half. They've looked really good, 1-5 straight, but their bullpen is just completely destroyed. And they have a pitcher who they can't trust to go the distance here. Twins have won 3 straight. They're bouncing back. Romero looked great in his first career start, throwing 5 2/3 scoreless. I told you he's a very confident kid, and he wants this opportunity.
First start was great.
Yeah, 5 2/3, 4 hits, 3 walks, 5 Ks. Averaged almost a strikeout per inning in 324 minor league innings. Won 11 games last year at Chattanooga. Gant will be making his first big league start of the year. He's thrown 3 innings of hitless, scoreless relief. He looked very good in Memphis this year, but a high walk rate, but looked very good. 4-0, 2.401 ERA, 1.27 WHIP. I just think that there's value here. My man Andrew says Twins is a good pick. Their bats are coming alive. Cardinals are tired from yesterday's extra inning games. I agree with that completely. My man Nostratoda says Cards pen taxed. Gant never pitched past 3. Twins are nothing. And Brandon Cummings is on the Twins plus 1.5. I'm going to take him straight up to win the game on the money line.
Okay. Do you want this officially?
Oh, yes.
All right. Let's see. Twins. Let's see. Line shopping here at SBRodds.com. Plus 122 at Bookmaker. Money line. Plus 122. Bookmaker. Best line there for you, Jimmy the Bag. Yeah, I was thinking that Minnesota on the first 5, on the full game, something like that was a no-brainer. I'm going to look into that one a little bit more in the afternoon and maybe have an opinion on that one. Let's talk about the Detroit against Texas, right? It appears at first glance that Detroit first 5 innings would be a no-brainer play here. Matt Moore looks like he's just having some serious issues in general, and that on many other major league teams he'd be out of the rotation, but he's getting another start here. Fulmer has been very solid and serviceable at worst. Why do we not like Texas here?
Or why would we not like Tigers?
Detroit. Yeah,
Detroit. The flu. The flu is running rampant. But yes, I still like them, even though the flu is running around. Tigers coming off losing 3 of 4. They'll be without Cabrera on the 10-day disabled list. And Candelario, I like this young third baseman, jammed his right thumb. And then Castellanos is dealing with the flu. And we're not entirely sure who else is dealing with the flu. Already, Kobe Valentine likes another dog, saying Texas minus 1.5. Texas just lost 3 of 4 games. They're 5-15 at home. Fulmer's look great. 2.80 ERA, 1.27 WHIP through 35 and a third, 27 Ks, 9 walks. Most recent start on Wednesday against Tampa. He turned his 3rd consecutive quality start. 2 runs, 6 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts in 6 innings. 2 career starts at Globe Life Park look great. Really good. 1-1, 3.21 ERA, 11 Ks. Moore just doesn't look good. 7.67 ERA, 1.91 WHIP. He has 2 career starts against the Tigers, 0-1 with an 8.31 ERA. The Tigers are hitting lefties well, but how concerned should we be about the flu? And then how concerned should we be that Kobe Valentine likes -1.5? Thinking about Texas with the flu and trusting Fulmer, I think Millie B03 is probably on the right track.
Millie B03 is on the right track.
Detroit, Texas under.
Uh-huh.
And Alex Vishnevsky, I'm on under 9.5 or 9 on this Tigers game. I have to say that I can't trust this team that's ravaged by the flu, who just lost 3 or 4 to a terrible team. I guess I can't trust them to win, but I think that Matt Moore will have a better start.
Or at least good enough.
Dealing with this sickness. And I really do. I think that's the play.
Yeah, okay. I was thinking about maybe a shot with the second half under as well, despite the fact that both bullpens are a little bit iffy. And once again, I'm gonna hold off, and I'm gonna be more cautious, which served me well on Friday. And I'm going to I think I'm gonna be picking my spots and trying to get up into the positive units before I start throwing on 8-10 plays a day like I love to do. You know what I'm saying, Jim?
Yeah, no,
Is this gonna be a pass for you?
I don't know what to do. My man Max says don't be fooled by flu nonsense, as I have been before. Tomor says I don't trust either Texas or Detroit bullpen, and neither starter pitch is deep. Maybe the first 5 under is the play instead. Maybe the first 5 under. So I agree with you. I'm going to take more time, and that worked very well on Friday, not to rush into any plays.
Yeah.
And Mark Lewis says he's over here chilling, getting high with an NBA superstar.
No way, Mark Lewis?
That sounds real nice.
Look at
We
that.
don't want the name. We want to respect his privacy and his being able to get lifted. We want to respect that very much, and we don't want that to ever hurt him in the long run. We want him to smoke as much as he chooses to smoke in a very comfortable fashion. Keith Mitchell says Texas is a play. Kevin K says Miguel Cabrera still on the DL helps the under. I Am Wayne says Tigers first 5. Scotty Rock says Tigers could have the swine flu and still hit Matt Moore.
Scotty Rock forever. Yeah, he says Scotty Rock forever says I fade Matt Moore for life. Sorry, LOL. I mean, certainly until further notice, at the very least. Right?
My man Max says Matt Moore has 2 wins. He gets his 3rd tonight. I think this is another spot that needs more time. So I'm not going to take the Tigers after losing 3 of 4 to the lowly Royals, dealing with this flu, whether or not we're going to care or really believe in this issue. I don't think the Tigers is the right play. Alonzo Shiver says I like Tigers. I think maybe the first 5 might be. I don't know what. I'm just going to say first 5 lean right now and not lock it in.
Kevin K says I think Texas might be the play. Keith Mitchell says Texas is the play. So some interesting comments coming in on Texas. Yeah,
I love Fulmer, and I would not feel comfortable fading him.
All right, let's talk about another guy who is always either on the auto fade list or borderline on the auto fade list, and that's Homer Bailey, who's gotten touched up in his past few starts, going up against a first-time starter from Ireland, Conlon, for the Mets, a lefty who is, if you look at his stats in the minors so far this year, maybe not quite ready for prime time. This is an interesting matchup here. Maybe obviously it has first 5 overwritten all over it, unless you think that's a trap. What do you think, Jim?
I kind of feel like this Mets squad is much, much easier to pitch to without Cespedes. No, I shouldn't say much, but Cespedes being out hurts their lineup. I don't think Homer Bailey's pitched terrible. He's a 1.25 whip. Yes, he's allowed 8 home runs and 39 in the 3rd. But Conlon, we're talking about a guy who is not a top 10 prospect. Well, let's break down Bailey first. Mets, first off, have lost 7 of 8. Reds have lost 5 of 6. So they're both 2 losing squads coming into this. Bailey hasn't won in 8 months. Last time out, he allowed more home runs than he got strikeouts. He gave up 5 runs, 6 hits, and 5 innings in a 7-6 loss Tuesday to the Brewers. Reds are 0-7 in games he started. He's gone 1-4 with a 6.49 ERA against the Mets. Conlon starting in place of DeGrom. In 2017, Double-A Binghamton went 8-9, 3.38 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, 108 Ks and 136 innings. This year in Triple-A Vegas, we know it's very hard to pitch there.
Yes.
24 innings, 6.7 ERA, 1.58 WHIP. He looked great this spring. 10 2/3, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks, 3 walks. Mets are hitting poorly, 230, 680 OPS. That won't improve without Cespedes in the lineup. And the Reds are hitting lefties. I tell you what, I have a lean towards the left, or towards the Reds, but I wanted to hear what people say. Nicholas Newell says, love the Mets.
Loves the Mets.
Yeah. Let's see. Kobe, just back to that last play. In the last game we were talking about, Kobe says, I like Fulmer too, Jimmy, but it's a bad spot for him today. I'm happy I did. I like this play for not forcing issues, not forcing plays, and talking everything out. I really like this. Alonzo Shiver says, I like the Mets easy.
Shout out to Alonzo Shivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Great guy. Ace Farmer says, Bailey started off hot. Last 2 games rocked. Fade with team totals while you still can. I Am Wayne says, Mets are trash. Tomor says, Mets look like a buy low team, but their offense has been horrible. I don't want to back them. Barkerman says, Conlon 1-2, 6.75 ERA. Not Applicable says, 8 months without a win, not very impressive. King Art says, team totals only. Melee Palace Way says, Bailey terrible versus New York. Taking a shot with Mets, but love the over.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to take a shot with the Mets' first 5 innings, team total over, that would be a 2.5.
Joe D says, Mets Cincy, pound the under at 9.5.
Pound the under.
Dom Ricci, who's in New York, says Mets team is having major concerns.
Yeah.
And Jeremy M is with Joe D, says like the Mets Reds under 9.5. You know, I'm very thankful to get to talk this out with everybody.
Yeah.
I have a lean towards the Reds. I have a lean towards the Reds. I'm not sure what Conlon's going to give us, and the only thing the Reds are hitting right now are lefties.
Yeah.
Kevy K says, careful with the Mets, guys. Mets pitcher was a scrub from the minors who was getting touched in the Little League. Don't have confidence to back him.
I mean, he's a guy who, and anyone who even gets considered for the majors is capable of having a decent start, especially in his first time out when, they expect the unexpected. There's not a lot of scouting on him. And, I mean, he's a guy who supposedly throws strikes, which is important,
Yes, it's important for sure. And Dom Ricci says under, if anything. Ace Farmer said, and this is an interesting theory. I'm curious what you think about this. Says Mets being at home multiple series, and we know they've lost 7 of 8. Get them out of New York into a hitter's park against Bailey. Think they pick it up.
I would generally agree with that. Yes,
I think that's
certainly
an
not
interesting theory.
Certainly, it's not applicable every instance, but I would generally agree with that and endorse that line of thinking.
Not Applicable says Reds have been hitting. It's funny. I still think we're going to find nice spots to have value with this team. I don't know what to do at this point.
Okay.
Initially, I was going to take the Reds. I think I'm going to take a little bit more time with it.
And a lot of people leaning under. I was thinking about taking the Mets on the first 5 innings team total over at 2.5, or the full game team total over at 4.5 minus 124. But I guess I will hold off for now. Once again, these records, as Mark Lewis well knows, we're very honest with our records, and we throw them up there. So we got to be careful. You know what I'm saying, Jim? We got to go down with our best pitches every time. And
yes.
I'm gonna be careful. Again, we can do a lot of analysis with not necessarily giving picks. And I think at least in this point in the MLB season, I'm going to be making more of my picks in the late show as opposed to the early show.
That worked so well for us on Friday. There's no doubt about it. Oh, Nostratoda says Mets or pass. Don't lay wood with shit teams. Jason Grassi, I like Reds team total over 4.5 and not applicable pass game. Kobe Valentine says for Reds, I think they should be more of a dog. And Mally Mall says since he went way over 9.5 yesterday, I smell another fading Bailey.
All right, let's talk about Hendricks and against Miami. Miami's suddenly been hitting a little bit. Hendricks giving up home runs here and there. I was thinking maybe that if I don't necessarily like Miami at a plus 200 dog, at least taking Miami on the first 5 innings team total over and or the full game team total over. What do you think, Jim?
I think that what we're doing is we're always trying to find value. Now, it's always going to be hard to find value when you're against the Marlins. Yeah. But people think this Cubs team is trash all of a sudden. They've lost 5 straight, and they're not. They have produced 3 or fewer runs for the 10th time in their last 11 games. We were a believer of this offense earlier in the year, and it's not looking very good at this point. Marlins have won 2 straight, 7 of their last 10. They've now captured 4 straight series.
Sure.
They're playing well, and Garcia is their stud. 1.09 ERA, 0.85 WHIP through 33 innings. Hendricks 3.19 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. We've talked about him regressing as the late great Malinsky, Dave Malinsky was thinking about was expecting a regression of form for Hendricks. He's always pitched very well against the Marlins, 2-1 with a 1.35 ERA. The Marlins are winning games and still not hitting at 226, 626 OPS, and the Cubs are not hitting lefties very well, 230, 681 OPS. At this point, I'm not touching this game, but I'm very interested to hear what everybody has to say.
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking about a team total over either first 5 innings or full game with Miami. I don't necessarily, I'd love to take a shot with them at plus 212. But yeah, let's see what people are saying here. Let's see. Not applicable. Likes Miami money line. Tomorino. Hendricks is a different pitcher at home. I wouldn't lay minus 230, but he's been elite at home for several years, and Miami is the worst offense in baseball. Scotty Rock forever says taking Marlins here.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot.
Mm-hmm.
Mali Malik says Cubs opened up big. I like the Cubs. Nostratoda says too bad no wind blowing out at Wrigley. Would have been a great over, and we would have got a very
you would have gotten
low
it. But
line.
if the wind had been blowing out, you wouldn't be getting what you're getting right now, which is 7.5.
Yeah, no doubt about it. My man Max says this is an under and possible gem game from Hendricks.
Wow.
He
really?
always pitches the Marlins well. He always pitches at home well. The Marlins are winning with just good baseball, not great offense. Not applicable like 3-run Marlins. Molly Mall says Cubs money line. Joe D says until the Cubs are batting at a more consistent rate, it's best to side with Miami on this one at plus 212. And that makes sense. Kevin Case says important stat. Hendricks has an unsustainable 86% strand rate, which has led to that shiny ERA, but the truth can be found is 4.27 xERA, and that's what Malinsky was saying.
Yes, Kevy. Well, he was saying, and he had a bunch of other indicators as well, but Kevy K always coming in with those interesting and very valuable stats.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of smart people think that Hendricks is due for some regression to the mean, or at least worse performances going forward, and I would tend to trust all those people. Might not come here though.
Tomer says Cubs do hit lefties in their history. I mean, last year they did. They just aren't doing it so far this year. But he says, I'd lean the Cubs. This looks like a bounce-back series.
All right, Jim. Do you want to make a pick on this game? Because all right, let's
don't.
move on to San Francisco and Philly. Samardzija against Eflin. Unfortunately, this is definitely going to be a pass for me. I have no opinion either which way. San Francisco, great. All of a sudden, hitting and winning, right? Philly's struggling a little bit, but there's some talent in that lineup, right?
There is. I guess with such a youthful lineup, we had to know that they'd be a streaky ball club, and the Phillies might be the type of team that you bet after a win and maybe fade after a loss. Now we'll have to see moving forward, but the Giants are clutch. These 30-year-old bats are hitting. And it's nice to see. Samardzija versus Elfin. Game time temp 72, wind blowing sideways, 9 miles an hour across the diamond. Giants are 5-1 against the NL East this season, fresh off a 3-game sweep of the Braves. Outscored the Braves 24-9 in those 3 games. Philadelphia's lost 4 consecutive series. Samardzija 5.27 ERA, 1.83 WHIP, but that's just through 13 2/3. He's had a strange start to the season because he looked so good in that first start. It's looked bad since. 12 Ks, 10 walks. He's been destroyed at Citizens Bank Park. 15.43 ERA in 4 career appearances. His 8.18 ERA against the Phillies in 11 career appearances. Eflin looked very good in his first start of the year. 6 innings in Miami, allowing 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 Ks, no walks. Carried a perfect game through 5. 22 starts under his belt in his career. 0-1 with a 6.75 ERA, 1.438 WHIP in his career versus the Giants. Giants are hitting 254, 713 OPS. That's gone up. And the Phillies has gone way down, 237, 703 OPS. Let's see what people have to say. Scotty Rock. So this guy knows his team very well. Giants money line all day. Hit money. I says I follow the Giants very closely. The Phillies will win today.
Oh, there you go. And Yellow Jesus saying over at 9.
That might be a really nice spot.
Tomer also liking the over. I'm on the over in Philly. San Francisco, I got it at 8.5. Good weather over. It's warm. And 2 mediocre struggling pitchers. Philly hits better at home. The over might be the play here. Ace Farmer says Eflin is awful.
I think that might be a great play. And I'm thankful to be hearing all this great insight. I think it's going to really help my bottom dollar. So, yes, I think that is a play. What would we get on the over?
Well, Tomer got 8.5. Nice job, Tomerino. Right now, the 9 would be minus 105, and the first 5 innings would be 5. No 4.5s available.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I trust all the people who are leaning over here, and I'm going to think about it a little bit more.
I'm gonna jump on the over.
You are?
Yeah, I think
officially.
Yes, officially.
Okay, Jim's going to take the over. Let me just find it. The best line right now will be Philly over 9 minus 102. That is the current line at Pinnacle. Over 9 minus 102. All right, Jim, we do want to get to the playoff segments and the Twitter segments. So let's wrap this up. We've covered every game, right, Jim?
Yes, and Yellow Jesus, just to finish it off, as he always blesses our picks.
Thank you so much.
And it was a very important blessing this weekend. I had a great weekend.
Yeah.
Says easy over, fellas. Don't overthink it. So I'm not going to. I'm on the under.
Jesus. Love Yellow Jesus.
Got it.
Love Brendan Cummings. All right, let's. Kylo Ren trying to stir things up once again. Loshak, every time I have this on my big screen TV, my granny says, "You're cute. Are you into GILFs?" Most of the time, yes. Most of the time, yes. I have to admit that I certainly am leaning towards GILFs. Yes, absolutely. All right, so once again, I have no picks officially as of right now. No picks. I'm going to make some in the afternoon show probably, but I got to be really careful because if you're going to be honest with your record, you got to really, you can't just be throwing picks around willy-nilly. Jim has Oakland money line plus 125, Twins money line plus 122, and the Philly game over 9 minus 102. That's right. That's it for you, Jim?
That's it for me now, and the leans that I'm going to work on in the afternoon, the lean is the over in the Nationals Padres. I'm leaning towards the Reds. And I'm leaning towards a first 5 under in Tigers Rangers.
Okay, and I'm leaning towards San Diego second half at plus 140. I kind of like San Diego's bullpen. Leaning towards Houston second half, leaning towards the Houston-Oakland first half over, and leaning towards Miami first half and maybe full game team total overs. Maybe. I'm just want to be careful that I'm not getting suckered in by one of those 1.5s. So that's what I'm thinking about. And also thinking about the Mets first half and team total and full game team total overs as well to a hit Homer Bailey. All right, now we have come to the Twitter segment of this show. It's a new thing that we are doing. If you want Jimmy and I to address your tweets, your tweet questions or comments as best as we can, tweet at SBR Sportsbooks, and the hashtag that you need to use for this show is what is it? Get that cash.
Get that cash.
All right, and Johan, do we have a tweet in today's show? We got one tweet. All right, hit us up with that tweet, Johan. Jim, can you read this one when it comes up? There's a little bit of a lag.
There might be a little bit of a lag.
Oh,
so
here
we'll
we go.
Here
we go. It's up. I might be able to read it. We're waiting. A little bit of a lag between when it goes up and we can see it. Here it comes. Hopefully, we'll be able to answer it impressively and amazingly. Let's see what's coming. What's so funny, Jim?
Oh, they're worried. They're worried about the GILFs. They're worried about the GILFs.
Okay.
Just because their hearts might not be ready for this. Right?
That's right. I'll try to get out of weekend mode by this afternoon and be back full force when it comes to jokes. That's my real, true secret strength, Jim. You didn't know that. Did you know that?
You have many secret strengths.
Yes.
And they're not so secret. We believe in all your strengths.
It comes from Todd Raymond. Todd Raymond, the guy who's given us some great totals plays in the comment section. Let's see. Thanks, Jimmy, for getting me that cash with the Derby. Take a bow, Jim. I had a shitty week and turned it all around with Justify. Thanks, brother. Okay, no question. Just huge props for Jimmy. Obviously, first-time viewers might not be aware that Jimmy the Bag broke the hell down out of the Derby. And the question is, did he give winning picks, though, after that breakdown? The answer is yes. Yes,
it was. But, man, Todd Raymond is so great with totals. He's given he's helped us so immensely. This is our relationships with each other. It's give and take. And there's been so much giving as well from all you guys. So it's an absolute treat. It's an absolute fucking treat that I knew so many of my friends made cash on Saturday, and goddamn did it make me feel so goddamn good, and I'm still riding it.
Absolutely. All right, Todd Raymond, thanks so much for that tweet of positivity. We certainly appreciate it, and absolutely for all the work Jim put in breaking down the Derby. Every horse you looked at, right, Jim?
Oh,
You watched actual footage of them running around the tracks. And
I watched all the prep races.
Races.
You do that over the weekends, and now once that work is set in. Now, if I wasn't doing the show every day, I would have had times that work by 20. Because that's what I do. I spend the days at the Woodbine track, and that's like an office for me. I just go up to the track, and I go up to the track every day. But we're on a nice roll. We got a good read on these horses, and just to give you an idea of the future with the Triple Crown, we will take Justify if we get him at 4-5. We won't bother with him at 3-5. And if Justify wins the Preakness, we have to fade him in the Belmont.
Sure.
Every single time a horse wins it, now this might blow up in our face like it did with Pharaoh because Justifies that special. But anytime a horse wins the Derby and the Preakness, we fade him every time in the Belmont, and it's going to pay out way more than it costs us.
Well, we will be talking a lot more about the Preakness in the upcoming 2 weeks, right, Jim?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right. Right now, we have to get to two segments that are certainly fun and interesting, treacherous, though, right? The NBA and the NHL playoffs. Let's start with the NHL playoffs. How about that, Jim?
Let's do it, yeah.
Always interesting, always fun, possibly treacherous, and we've got a possibly treacherous situation staring us right in the face. Obviously, Pittsburgh is down 3-2. Feels like a no-brainer play on Pittsburgh, and the market is definitely hip to that, right, Jim? Minus 200 at Bookmaker. The best line you could get right now would be minus 191 at Bet Online. I will admit that hesitantly, I did bet Pittsburgh -1 anyway on the overnight line, even though it was such a big favorite line. And I also have to think that early, if not full game as well, we're like in unders here. Huge game for Pittsburgh. They do have a history of doing well in elimination games, but Washington is no joke of a team, and especially with Holtby in goal, right? No joke of a goalie, or would you say he's a joke of a goalie? Or
well, absolutely not a joke. I mean, he had a very humorous regular season.
Yeah, yes.
But he's come up big and he's playing well.
All right,
he's
Jim.
confident.
I'm thinking I'm going to make Pens -1 a pick anyway, even though it's a huge favorite line. I'm leaning under on the full game and maybe first period under as well.
Yes, I get the first period under, and I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I've had a tough playoff run, no doubt about it. Four times, under Mike Sullivan, Pittsburgh's been in this situation, and they've won each time.
Mm-hmm.
They've won each en route to back-to-back Stanley Cups. Everyone knows what's at stake here. The Capitals have lost 1-9 all-time postseason series against Pittsburgh. 2 of the losses coming the last 2 years. Backstrom and Carlson both got hurt in Game 6 and left the game. Trot says they're both good to go, and I'm pretty sure Carlson is. But Backstrom does sound a little bit more questionable. Capitals are already without Burakovsky and Wilson. Wilson would be eligible to return for Game 7. I have 2 plays here. Now, first off, I'm not going to take the Pens here.
No.
No, it doesn't make sense. I've got too much futures. Too high of a line. I've got too much futures action. I'm not, and the only way to make it is to take them for me on the puck line, and I'm not going to do that. But I can understand if somebody would. I tell you what I am going to do, though. I am going to take the under 6 full game, and I may take the under in the first period. I just am concerned because it has been hitting so much for us, although it didn't hit Washington. I think that I'm going to take the under 6 full game and the under 1.5 first period.
All right, the full game is -105 right now at Bet Online. Once again, we are using SBR odds to line shop. Damn, I'm looking at our video here. I don't feel that good inside Jimmy the Bag, but I look awesome. Do I look that? See, a joke finally came out of me. High five. Look at that. Look how cool I look in blue with my fucking hair and the Yankees hat. Look at that, Jim.
Looking good.
I was like, I'm sitting here like, wow, I just feel like shit. And then I glanced up to read the tweet, and I was like, damn, I look good, man. Right? Am I wrong?
No, you look sharp.
Sorry, I didn't mean that little diversion. Johan, I apologize for that diversion. That was kind of fun. Johan's laughing. I made Johan laugh. Nice work. I'm feeling better by the second. All right.
If gilfs are still capable of getting damp, they're getting damp right now. Kevin K says hedge Jimmy, and I only have a $400 bet on the Pens to win the cup. I'm not that I don't want. I'm just not concerned. There's no reason for me to hedge in Game 6.
All right, Jim. We gave you 6 -105 on the under, and you want the first period as well.
I think so. I'd like to hear what the line is.
Well, plus 107 at Pinnacle.
Under 1.5 plus 107.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make that play yet. I'm not going to make that play yet, but I'm certainly leaning towards it. I'm not sure. I'm only going to make the under 6 full game at this point.
Right. And the reason you don't like Pittsburgh, obviously they're a massive line. I've already glanced at the comment section. There's some people saying that they want to take a shot with Washington at plus 170. Obviously, Washington being such a great team, getting this huge of an underdog line has to have value, but the spot favors Pittsburgh so much. Why would you not? Why would you recommend someone else not take Pittsburgh?
If you want to take Pittsburgh, this is the time. It always has been successful. It's just the line. They're huge favorites. The market knows how good they are in these situations. The Caps are dealing with some injury problems. We already got very, very great insight. Who was it? From Kevy K, as always, has Backstrom was not on the ice for the morning skate.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I took a good look at what went down with both these players and what the coaches were saying about both these players. And Carlson, I think, will be just fine. And Backstrom, I don't know.
And that's a big loss, huh?
It's an absolutely enormous loss.
It's everything.
Not everything, but it's a big, big loss. Employed Millennial says, I love the under 2, Jim. Yeah, and man, you're getting Kobe Valentine says Pete's always glowing.
Kylo Ren said, a lot of people coming in saying they want to take the Caps, and actually Daryl Lyles might have the best take on this one. If you want to take the Caps, he says take Caps reverse puck line, which would probably be a massive favorite, and you're looking at like getting a great team at a massive underdog line. You're getting a great team at a massive underdog line on the -1.5. But I'm gonna take the Pens -1. I have to do it. I bet it. And I just think there's going to be a Game 7 here. The money line part of this, -191. The puck line part of this will be line chopping here will be +160 at the Greek. So,
in fact, I would say for sure that I like the -1 bet. I would prefer it to the -1.5. And Rad Ray, or Ray Dre, as we call him, says, best bet of the day. Loshak is an attractive man.
Thank you so much, Ray Dre. Thank you so much, Ray Dre. Yeah, and I was also leaning under and leaning a first period under as well, which so you're going to hold off on the first period under for now.
I am definitely going to hold off.
Okay.
I'm much more comfortable with the under. Now, that's definitely my lean, and I've got it written down here, so I'm going to take some time on it for sure.
And I was thinking that I was liking the full game under a little bit more than the first period under, as opposed to the next game. Let's move on to it. Nashville and Winnipeg. Winnipeg, of course, up 3-2. This game also does feel like Nashville sends it to a Game 7 as well, but I'm thinking the best play here, I'm also leaning under, and in this game, as opposed to the Pitt game, I think I'm liking the first period under a little bit more. The big question here is Pekka Rinne. Clearly still mostly awesome, but some chinks in the armor, a little bit of weirdness going on with him psychologically, right, Jim?
It was strange. I mean, after the first period, you had to think, oh, man, Rinne's in it.
Yeah, but then, you know what I'm saying?
There's no question. No question. I mean, Jets have won 13 of their last 14 games at Bell MTS Place, and that's bookended by losses to the Predators. I mean, they're a very, very tough team to beat. And this Predator team, I don't think is going to go out quietly. So, first off, before I break down the rest of the game, just to let you know, I am on the under 6 in this game.
Yes.
But the Predators are going to go out quietly. Subban just said that we're a character group. We have a ton of experience here. We're going to go into Winnipeg, and we're going to go win a game. We're going to come back here, Nashville, and every single guy in here believes in that. And I like hearing that stuff. You have to like hearing that stuff. The Jets have Kulikov healthy. I don't think they should not play him. You can't, after being out since March 17th, you can't come in Game 6 of the Central Division Finals, I don't think. Predators have the type of team that can clog the neutral zone.
Yes.
They have size and speed, but the Jets have proven that they can find an opportunity and pounce.
What is it? I think the big question is just what's up with Rinne, because I'm looking at this game, I'm thinking more likely than not we see a repeat of Game 4 where Nashville probably has the edge and it's probably low scoring. Unless Rinne is just having some psychological issues that we have to take into account.
I don't think Rinne is having psychological issues. I think that the Jets have the elite goal scorers that can win you a cup. And they got a lot of momentum, and they're a good hockey team. Yellow Jesus says Nashville guaranteed a victory. Is that dangerous, Jim? No. If I was believing in a team or a fan of a team, I would prefer them guaranteed victory. I mean, it all started with Messier, at least for us in the NHL, and I would prefer my team say that we are going in and we are going to win that game and we're coming back to Nashville. I would prefer that.
Everyone seems to be saying Jets here. Skooma Steve, Jets puck line. Mally Mal, Jets. Not applicable, says Jets win in OT. There you go. Chaz Den Bellamy says Nashville.
Where's our man Brooksy? Oh, there he is, Brent Brooksy, straight to the bank. He says all will be revealed. I'd love to know what Brooksy's on. I think it's important. He says tough card. I think it's very, you want to just get information from everybody. My man Nostra Torta says Rinne is a sieve, always has been. Kevin K says Jets gaining value as money comes on Nashville. Tomor says I like Rinne. I think Rinne is getting too much attention. He's had issues, but Nashville's defense as a whole hasn't been good enough. And Brent Brooks says still have to look at it, but Preds.
I mean, it feels to me my leans would have to be Nashville as of right now. And maybe take a shot with Nashville on the alternative puck line. You know, sometimes these alternative puck lines in these games, if you want to take Washington -1.5 tonight, which is what Darryl Lyles suggested, plus 453 at Pinnacle, and you can probably get better if you line shop around. I mean, you're getting a real good team there at -1.5.
This is a very tough spot. This is such a tough spot for Washington. I think this is a much more legitimate spot for Nashville.
Yeah.
First off, yes, they won in Game 5 at home, but without Wilson and a hurting Backstrom and a possibly hurting Carlson and no Burakovsky's been a bum all year, but I just think in Pittsburgh with this team who's done it and done it and done it, but there's no question there's value in that bet. But I would think that Nashville might be the better spot.
So Nashville on the alternative puck line at Pinnacle is plus 340. Maybe Rene out of nowhere stands on his head and Nashville gets like a 3-zip win.
Or a 2-1 win like they got in Game 4. Yes. I mean, if Nashville loses, it's all their fault. They had the momentum. They had a chance to take care of business at home, and they weren't able to do it.
Yeah. All right, so my leans right now would be Nashville, maybe even a shot with Nashville +1, and definitely leaning under. How explosive is Winnipeg offensively? Are they likely to come in here and put up 2 goals in the first period?
The Nashville will lose the game if they don't completely clog.
Right.
They have to know now that the elite scorers, even though Philip Forsberg's great and Ryan Johansson is someone I expected to be better at this point in his career, the elite scorers are wearing Jets jerseys.
Yeah.
So they have to clog up. They have to use their size. They have to dump and chase.
And are they capable of doing that on the road?
Yes, and we saw them do it. So there's no question about it. There's no question that's why Subban believes in it.
All right, I'm going to take the first period under just to start. Once again, we will be back at 6 o'clock reviewing all the line moves and maybe adding other picks to our official record. But I'm going to start with the first period under 1.5 plus 105. That's the line right now at Pinnacle. I'm going to take the first period under 1.5 plus 105. I would be also leaning to the full game under, and I would be also leaning to Nashville here, maybe even +1. Which would be an interesting line here as well. So if it goes into OT, you either get a push or a win. And no play for you as of right now.
No, there is definitely a play for me.
Okay, what's that?
And I hate seeing Nostra say this, but I get Nostra looks for value and for big scores, and I love it. And that's why we all follow him. That's why we always are interested in what he has to say. He's not sitting there taking -160s. He's always looking for value, always looking for big scores. So Nostra's on the over 8 alternative line with these sieves in there.
Wow. Over 8 alternative line with these sieves. S-I-V-S. Sieves. No, he spelled it correctly.
He did.
I like to spell it sieves in net. Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting. He's an exciting capper. There's no doubt about it. I love him. But I'm not with them here. I'm taking the unders in both of these hockey games.
Wow, you want the full game under, Jim?
I do.
All right, let's line chop here, and then we'll move on to NBA, which might be even more interesting and more treacherous. All right, we're going to give you Winnipeg under 6, and the best line will be -112. -112 right now at Pinnacle. Under 6, -112. So Jim's on the full game unders in both Pittsburgh and Winnipeg. I'm on Pens -1. That's my favorite play of the day. I'm on the first period under in the Winnipeg game, and I would be leaning under in the Pittsburgh game as well. And of course, once again, we'll be back at 6 o'clock. We'll go over all this all again, get more information, more analysis.
Everybody knows that I was so heavy on puck lines all year. I just don't feel like that's the spot with Penguins. And when you reiterated again that it's your favorite play, I have to agree with you. And I will take the Pens on the -1 line.
Really?
Yeah.
On the -1 line?
Just the -1
So you're doing the
line.
same thing as me then?
I am, yeah.
Okay, we'll give Jim the Pens -1 line. Again, the money line is -191, and the puck line is +160. I don't think any of those lines have moved. Yes, -191 at BetOnline, and the puck line is +160 at the Greek. Line shopping here as always at SBRodds.com. Jimmy the Bag.
Yeah, and Jeff Gillen said the same thing that Nostra said earlier in one of our chats. He said that if you were taking the Penguins, the better play is probably to take them to win the series. And Jeff Gillen's doing that at +190. I've already done that at +150. I don't like where I stand now. Everybody's seeing my units drop. And it's scary and uncomforting after such a great season to just to have it just to struggle like this in the playoffs is very tough. And then Max is on the doing the opposite way of Nostra, but with the same idea. Max is thinking of taking the under 4.5 at Jets Preds for a huge score. I get it. I get it. I get it. And you know what? I haven't seen my numbers, and I know that they're going down quickly. Do you mind if we put up the hockey?
Sure,
so
go ahead. We can throw it. See, Jim's doing a little bit of his shimmy here because he knows that overall his record is friggin' awesome. They are headed down, though. I'm headed down, too, a little bit. I'm down to 30 units as well, which is not great. But overall, our NHL records on the entire season, as you can see there, are extremely admirable, and I'm damn proud of that for both of us, Jim.
I'm proud of that too, but it's not comforting after being so strong in the regular season to just get beaten up in the playoffs.
If you're going to bet a regular season sport like NBA or MLB or NHL day in and day out, you are going to have your wild swings, ups and downs. You know what I'm saying, Jim? And if you come out up 4% ROI on the year,
I'd be very happy.
Absolutely.
Very happy.
My goal for any MLB season, up 2%. ROI.
Absolutely.
On the year.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And okay. All right. So let's move on to NBA. How about that, Jim?
Yes, please.
All right. Let's move on to NBA. Of course, we have two possible sweeps in the offing tonight. I guess let's start with the Boston Philly game. Philly, despite being down 3-0, is a 6 or 6.5 point favorite. And this one, these two games, I have a worse read, I feel, on than the NHL games. Let me just my freezing up here a little bit. Once again, I'm thinking that Philly first quarter unders. Philly's got to clamp down on defense, right? We've seen some low-scoring first quarters in both of these series so far, and I'm thinking, why not think about it again? First quarter under, maybe Philly first quarter, maybe Boston first half team total under, something like that. What's your read on this game?
It's uncomfortable, and the market is, I think, handling it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The first half line is like -4.5
Mm-hmm.
or -5, and the full game's only -6.5.
Yeah.
I mean, the market knows what's up. If they were going to hang a -2.5 at the first half, I would jump at it.
Mm-hmm.
Dogtown saying something very kind. Much love, Dogtown. Thank you. They know what's up. Ben Simmons needs to step up. He was better in Game 3. 16 points, 8 boards, 8 assists. But was a -11 when he was on the floor. And I believe someone was mentioning it, and I sort of saw it with my peripheral vision. I believe they were talking about how much flack Simmons got for taking that quick shot so close to that little bunny hop so close to the basket. But he's afraid of getting fouled. He's a 56% foul shooter during the regular season. He's within a few feet from the basket. I understand why he does it. Makes a 3-point game if he gets fouled. Brown is getting out coached by Brad Stevens, but he's also being outclassed by Brad Stevens. When he said after the game that young guys at times look young, referring to the Simmons play, fuck you. Seriously, you're looking like a young coach right now because you're getting completely outcoached, and you're saying that about your star player. Brad Stevens would never do that. I really dislike everything that Brett Brown's doing, and I hated him throwing Simmons under the bus there and not stepping up. Whereas it makes me want him to fucking lose. But Tatum is a stud. We've seen that 11 for 17 for 24 points. 5 straight 20-point games, and Embiid's not playing well. 10 for 26 from the field. I mean, that's not enough. He's shooting just 43% in the playoffs. That is not enough. Yeah. The Sixers look like they're playing with the weight of their world on their shoulders.
Yeah. This one is tough. The first quarter would be a Philly -2.5. The first half is Philly -4.5. And as you said, the full game is just 6. So the market clearly leaning strongly towards Philly early, and you're going to have to pay for it if you want to take him anyway. This is a tough one. I think I'm going to pass on this game.
Oh, our man High Wins with us says Pete and Jimmy Boston money line. Bill Butler says I have to take Celtics here. Rich Banks says Stevens is the best coach in the league. Calvin K says Celtics keep paying me. No way, I'm not taking this great opportunity again. Sixers are lost. Way too many turnovers. Keep doubting these kids on Boston. They'll keep proving you wrong. The Sixers look like they're playing with the weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yeah, and you're getting a big. You can get 6.5. No 7s, but it opened at 7, and now there's still 6.5s available.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, the market. I think the market's got a sharp line here, and I'm not sure what to do. Melee Palace Way says Philly full game. I think they crushed tonight. I tell you that full game is more appealing than the first half, but I'm not going to take it. I'm watching these Sixers play, and I keep repeating it. There's a lot of stress on them. I've got no play on this one now. Underdog says, what's the total?
Total is about 205. Obviously it's been relatively low scoring so far.
Yes, I'm
But I'm not going to
making a
take the
play.
first quarter under, which is just 47, and the first half is 99 or 99 and a half. I'm going to pass on this one, Jim. Just don't have a good feel for it.
I hear you. My man Jemiah's on Boston. Jeremy M. Boston plus 6.5 full game under.
If you gave me a free play, I'd take Boston plus the points, 6.5, definitely.
Yeah, Tomor says Philadelphia dominated all year because Simmons was guarded by small point guards. Boston is using big defenders and they destroyed them. Without Simmons, Philly role players don't get shots. I mean, that's great.
Yeah, great analysis from Tomrino Tomor.
And Jemiah's on the over though, so that's the first we've heard of anyone, because everyone's on the under, and then Jemiah's on the over, and Jemiah's sharp, man. Jemiah knows his ball very, very well.
All right, now let's move on to Toronto, Cleveland. Obviously, Cleveland up 3-0. A sweep, which Native Queen said was possible.
And Dan Kelly.
Could happen here. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that Toronto's going to win this game, but it does feel like they're going to leave it all on the court, and taking Toronto plus 5.5 full game is probably the way to go, right?
Yes, it's the way to go, and I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm sickened by everybody in Toronto saying horrible things. Some of them are, friends of mine for years and years, and they're just shitting all over DeRozan, and they want him out, and shitting all over Casey. And shit all over Casey, but DeRozan's meant so much to our city. The last time we got swept last year by the Cavs, I was under the QEW in a Toyota Corolla, and Casey pulled up beside me. Casey pulled up beside me, and it was about 3 days after they swept. And so my first, he was in a Rover. My first instinct was to be excited. You're excited.
Yeah.
And then he looked at me, and I went like that.
No,
I did, because he coached poorly, and he needs to know that, and he's not coaching well here. But I hate all this hate on DeRozan. This guy wants it so badly, and he cares about our city, and I just fucking hate it. Rich Banks saying Casey's a horrible coach.
And our new friend Mark Lewis coming out with picks.
Nice.
He says Boston money line and Raptors plus the points. Don't sleep on it. Easy money. Take it to the bank. I mean, I can't disagree with either of those as far as value is concerned. And I'm going to make the Raptors plus the points an official pick. Not necessarily that they're going to win, but they're going to leave it all on the court. And I think more likely than not, it comes down to the last few buckets. I'm going to take the Raptors plus 5.5 minus 110 as an official pick full game.
I am too, and I'm going to bet it. Dave LA's on the Raptors money line. So the Cavs have never lost game 4 of a series, which they won the first 3 games. Obviously, LeBron has been incredible. 34.8 points, 9.6 boards, 8.8 assists. 348 points through 10 playoff games are the most since Jordan. 354 in 10 games in 92. That fall away bank shot will haunt me. It'll fucking haunt me. And I'm a LeBron James fan. I like him, but that's just going to fucking haunt me. Kyle Lowry stepped up a bit. We need more of this. He scored 15 and 27. And DeRozan is going to come back. And one thing about Casey is he is trying. He inserted Van Fleet, which I don't even love, but Van Fleet was a plus 14. He did go 2 for 9 from the field, 1 for 7 from 3. Hawko Schofield did call it. I forgot about that. Remember on Friday he said the Rockets would win by 20?
Really?
Yeah,
yes.
He did call it. It was a great play.
Nice, Hawko Schofield.
Tomor says DeMar DeRozan's a good story, but he needs to learn how to pass. His isolation plays don't cut in playoffs. His ISOs just drive us fucking crazy. Tomor says Toronto used pick and rolls with Lowry, new sets and lineups game 3. Cleveland wasn't ready for it. Cleveland will be ready in game 4. I think Cleveland will roll. Kobe says DeMar is great, and it's nice to hear that because, God, everybody in Toronto is just shitting all over him. Says if he gets a coach that can coach his style of play, he will do even better. Great player, and Toronto owes him a lot of credit for taking our team to another level.
Kobe Valentine says if Toronto just plays zone, they'll own the Cavs. All the switches are so fucking bad.
They are. Schneider says, love DeRozan, but he needs a lot more help than Lowry. Bart Nelson says, I want to take the Raps, but I hate the coaching. I get it. I get it. And Jesse Shark says, why the fuck was DeRozan not playing in the fourth quarter? It's because Casey just seems to make mistake after mistake. And now, with him not playing in the fourth quarter, we did come back in the game. And
Greg Schneider says, no way the Raptors win tonight. They cannot figure out how to guard the LeBron pick and roll. LeBron gets a mismatch every time down the floor, but Payless Way says, wait for someone to get up big and bet the other way. Game will go down to the wire. I'm thinking more likely than not the game goes down to the wire again, and so I'm going to take plus 5.5 Raptors.
So am I.
Not because I think they're going to win necessarily and avoid the sweep, but because 5.5 I think is too many.
And as the great Mark Lawrence told us, the great capper Mark Lawrence told us at the IFBC last year, he said, 3 things can happen when you take a dog, right? They either win outright, they cover, or you lose, and 2 of those 3 are good outcomes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So we're both going to take the Raptors plus 5.5. Total is 214. The series has been relatively low scoring in the first quarters. I'm thinking maybe what do we think? A first quarter under here again?
You know, I'm
Cutting it a little bit close.
I'm uncomfortable.
Getting a little bit cute, right?
Yeah, I like getting the points with the Raptors. I'm a little uncomfortable with the totals. My instinct, to be honest with you, thinks that there's going to be baskets and points in this game. I think it'll be a little more offensive, but and I might maybe add that late. But right now, I just think Raptors plus 5.5 is the value.
All right. Well, Jim and I are both going to be on the Raptors plus 5.5 minus 110. Jim and I are both passing on the Boston Philly game, although it's definitely tempting to take a shot with Boston plus 6 or 6.5. And our new friend Mark Lewis has called for a Boston outright win to get the sweep. The money line for Boston right now, let me just check here, at SBR odds, plus 233. Plus 233, so you can get like 230, 230, 240, something like that for Boston to win outright. I guess that wraps up the show, Jim, right?
It does. It's nice to be back,
Yes.
getting the week started. Let's get the week started with wins. It's been a good month so far, and it hadn't been until, the last Friday and the weekend. So let's keep it fucking rolling, man.
We'll be back at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you so much to everyone. As always, we'll see you at 6 o'clock.